Hello fam, welcome back to my channel. So with Thanksgiving around the corner, I was like, I need to get my people some mac and cheese recipes. Now as all of you already know, with mac and cheese recipes, there is a gazillion ways to have mac and cheese. There is an abundance of ways to make it. There is southern mac and cheese, baked mac and cheese, stovetop mac and cheese, cheddar, white cheddar, sharp cheddar, all kinds of ways. So today I'm gonna make you an easy peasy mac and cheesy. Now let's get into the cooking. The ingredients we're going to need are granulated onion powder, granulated garlic powder, some nooch. Now this is optional. You do not have to use it. If you are one of the people that despises the flavor of nooch, you can totally omit it and it won't destroy this dish. Some paprika, some salt, some fresh ground pepper. Now there's so many ways to make a mac and cheese. There's baked mac and cheeses. There's like really creamy mac and cheeses. There's a drier baked mac and cheeses, which are actually my favorite kind. Anyway, there's different, and there's so many ways to make a mac and cheese, so many flavors. Anyway, this is the way we're going to make the cheese sauce, but please don't feel limited to. Remember, these are just guidelines, and then cooking is really about it's very intuitive, you know, your hands in. This is why all the great mamas, grandmas, papas, everybody that cooks that is great, they don't measure things because they are intuitively cooking, right? They're putting in a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's intuitive. Anyway, with that being said, the stuff that we're gonna need to make the cheese sauce, I have different cheeses here. Now this one here, so I was going to use some cheeses, but I realized that my son had been eating out of them, so I didn't have them. But I'm gonna show you, this is the main cheese. Ooh, this is the main cheese I'm going to use. This is by Chow, and it's their creamy original, and this is what the brand looks like. And that's this one here. This is the most of the flavor, and this one has a very buttery, yummy, white type cheddar. The cheddar. Now the little bit that you see here, because I'm trying to compensate for the other cheese, but it's okay, we'll all be fine, is the Epic Smoke from Violife, which I really like in sandwiches. And that's that one there. Now this next cheese here, this is by Violife, and this is their cheddar shreds, which I'm also going to use. Now every good mac and cheese needs some butter. I typically use the Mayokos, and the Mayokos is about 2 sticks of butter. I feel that it's a little bit less, but I'm not using the Mayokos butter right now because it's frozen. And I was just like, whatever, I'll just use Earth Balance and that works just fine. Now here I have some panko breadcrumbs that I'm going to use to top off the mac and cheese. Now if you don't like that crispy, buttery top on your mac and cheese, you can omit it. And this is some Violife Parm that I grated, just because I want to mix that with the buttery breadcrumbs to put on top. Now the star of the show cannot be missed. We have our elbow pasta here. And you do not have to use macaroni pasta. You can use shells, you can use whatever pasta you have, whichever pasta is on sale, okay? We're just going with the traditional. Now I'm using some soy milk, and this we're going to kind of go as we go. We're, you know, because I can say, hey, you're gonna need 2 cups, but again, you have to intuitively see as you're cooking, how is the sauce is it too saucy? Is it too runny? Is it too liquidy? You know, this is what we gotta gauge. Now with that being said, let's get into the cooking. Okay, listen, here we have a pot, a large pot to cook our pasta. Now you can go based off on the cooking instructions, but we're going to bake this mac and cheese. So with that being said, you don't want to cook it all the way. You want to leave it, I would leave it a little bit under al dente, so your pasta, once it comes out of the oven, has a nice little bite. If you want to cook it based on your cooking instruction, please do that. Just be aware that we are going to bake it, and it's going to continue to cook for about 35 to 40 minutes. So it is up to you what you do. Now in this pot I have enough water to cook the amount of pasta that I have here. Now remember, all the ingredients and exact measurements will be on the description box below. Do not need to freak out. It's all gonna be there for you. In this pot I have water, and I added a hefty pinch of salt. You always want to salt your water when you're cooking pasta to the level of the sea. Always, always, always. Even if you're going to season it later, which we are going to. You always want to start with a very well seasoned pasta. Just by itself, you still want to season it well. Okay, we're going to bring this up to a boil, and then we're going to add our pasta. I'm going to add a lid to just help it just a little bit because it's almost there. Okay, our water now is on a rolling boil here, and I'm going to add my pasta. I'm going to give it a quick little stir. And I'm probably gonna cook it for about 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna check on it. Now, once this cooks for 5 minutes, I'm going to drain it. I'm not going to save any pasta water. I don't need that this time, so I'm just gonna completely drain it out. And I have already started the oven at 350. Just letting you know so we can start preparing. If you're cooking along as you're watching this, you're a little prepared. Okay, I'm gonna cook this up for 5 minutes, and y'all already know, I'll be right back. Okay, so our pasta has been cooking for 5 minutes exactly now. Okay, I'm going to turn off the stove because I'm pretty sure it is the way I want it, but I want to show you where I would stop cooking it. And remember, when you drain it and it sits on the colander, it's going to continue to cook just a tad bit. So remember that, keep that in mind. Okay, let me get one or a couple. Okay, here is one. I want you to see it's still a little tough, just a little bit. Oh, the oven's ready. Okay, now I'm going to go drain this out, and then I'll be right back. I just wanted to show you kinda what this looks like. And it's probably just about under al dente. Okay, on the same pan or pot that you were cooking your pasta in, you are going to start making your cheese sauce. Now I'm going to start by adding my butter. And the pot is still a little bit hot from, you know, from cooking the pasta. Now I am going to leave a little bit of butter. I don't know if you guys can see. Actually, I'm gonna leave a little less. I'm gonna leave this amount, probably about a hefty tablespoon of butter. Can you see it right there? To melt later when I mix with the breadcrumbs, and I'll show you how to do that later. Our butter is melting here, as you can see. Maybe this is a little high. We want to do this on a slow and gentle because we're not making a roux for this. We're not making a roux for this mac and cheese. So we're trying to make a nice thick sauce just by using the cheese. And this is just one that when I did, what was it? I took it for I want to say that it was for the release of New Day New Chef. By the way, if you guys haven't seen our show, New Day New Chef on Amazon Prime, you can watch it there for free. All vegan now. It is, I want to say that it's the first vegan cooking show on Prime TV. So check it out, y'all. Now, I took it to that and everybody loved it. I want to say that it was there. I got there and it was there maybe for 5 minutes and then it was gone. But you know how it is. You know how it be. Anyway, we're going to add our granulated onion. Let me bring this down just a little bit. We're going to add our granulated garlic. We're going to add our nooch. Again, nooch haters, if you don't like it, please leave it out. Don't make it difficult for you. Don't make life hard on yourself. I'm going to add the black pepper. Now, I could have just cracked it here. I don't know why I didn't. I did it on here, but that's okay. I don't know. I might need more. I'm going to add some paprika in here, and I'm going to add some salt. Now, just so you know, the onion, the granulated garlic and onion were not salted. So just keep that in mind. Now I'm just gonna mix this really well before I add my milk. And I'm going to add my milk. I'm gonna put this back up a little bit. The fire right now, and this really depends on your range, because this new range I have, this burner, my burner of choice, just due to the feng shui of things, it has a really high flame. Now, the reason I'm doing it in this order is because I want to awaken those dormant scents and flavors of the seasoning I added. Now I'm going to add the milk ever so gently. Y'all know my gently is kind of like not that gentle, but she be rough, y'all. She be a little rough. I'm going to add more milk, and I'm gonna add the milk intuitively. I am going to give you a guideline. Just bear with me here, all right? I haven't made this in a year. All right, yeah, I haven't made this in about a year. That was the last time I made that, because he was, I want to say it was in November or even December, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to let this warm up a little more, and I'm going to taste it where, I'm going to taste where we are right now. Okay, I'm gonna add a little more salt. Now the cheese has salt, y'all, so do keep that in mind. I'm going to add a little more of the paprika. And I'm gonna wait till it starts warming up just a little bit more. So when I add the cheese, it helps it start melting down. Let this warm up. And at this point, you can turn up the heat just a little bit. What you don't want is to get it bubbling and rolling to where it reduces. And then you have less milk, you have less butter, you have less of everything, right? So you want to do it nice and slow. Take your time with it. Make love to it, right? Because you are going to eat it after all. So you want to put all the good vibes, all the good intention into the food that you're going to consume. Okay, let me see. Okay, it's warm enough. I'm impatient, y'all. I'm impatient. I know I am. I need to work on this. So goes in the cheeses. Play along, fam. Now the reason this cheese comes in a block with slices. This is actually sliced cheese. And the reason I chop it up is so it can melt better. I'm going to add the cheddar. It should have been more cheddar, but you already know the story. My little son was eating it. Now, as you guys, some of you have noticed, the kitchen's a little different. That's because I moved. I relocated. But I will say the lighting here is not great. So I am working with different lighting. Just help a girl out in the comments below. Let me know. Is this lighting good? Can we fix it? I have not found the right lighting, but this is my first video in a while, child. So just bear with. Just bear with. I really just wanted to bring out a recipe that you guys can use this Thanksgiving. Okay, what we're trying to do here is melt the cheese, and as you can see, it already is starting to melt. And we are going to need more milk. I just want it to melt a little more, so then I can slowly start adding the milk. And I'm whisking it just to help it a little bit and help it along. And you want to keep moving it so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan and then it burns. We don't want that. Now this is on a medium to low. It's just this flame's high, child. So I don't know. People's ranges will be different, but you will be able to gauge. Please don't, if you are new in the kitchen, do not freak out. I promise you, you will not fail at this. You will, there is no failing, okay? We'll learn. we'll learn from the lesson. But honestly, it's such a easy peasy. You ain't gotta worry about it. Okay, I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. And I'm going to start incorporating a little more milk. And I'm gonna do it slowly because I don't wanna break the heat that is going on. I don't wanna turn it down and then, you know, you wanna slowly incorporate it so the heat doesn't get lost. So this, and this is room temperature, by the way. It is not cold or anything, but still. Now, this is what I wanted to tell you earlier when I was telling you the ingredients and I forgot. Let me add a little more. I am using a soy milk. Now, this is not a sweet soy milk. This is not a vanilla soy milk. This is just a plain, unsweetened, unflavored soy milk. Now, you don't have to use soy milk, but I wouldn't suggest using coconut milk or any of the strong flavored milks because you're going to taste it. Now, you could make your own almond milk and it would be extremely affordable. Y'all already know I have a video for that. Or do I? I have an oat milk, which you could also use. An oat milk would work so nicely in here because it's extra creamy. So it would totally work. And by the way, oat is extremely affordable. So if you want to do that, if you're making a lot of mac and cheese, you know, make your milk. It will take like less than 5 minutes. And you already know. Oh, y'all see what just happened? Okay, this one's gotta go. We're gonna scrape all of the sides and incorporate them. And our cheese sauce is going. Now, if you have a cheese that you like the flavor, but it just doesn't melt right, what I would recommend to do is blend it all. Put it in the blender with milk. Throw all your cheeses that you like and blend it. And now there is no problem. It'll be a sauce. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It's not fully melted, but I want to taste it just because we're getting to the final, you know, the flavors is in. What does it need? It needs more salt. It needs more paprika. And the paprika, it is up to you. It gives it a, I wouldn't admit it, to be honest. It gives it a nice little kick. But it's not like a, oh, it's spicy. No, no, no. It gives it a nice, it incorporates nice with the cheeses that I'm using. It just goes well. And when you finish it off, just adding a little paprika just makes it, brings it on home, baby. It brings it on home. It just gives it that little pop of color so beautifully. Anyway, I'm going to let this melt all the way. I'm going to add a little more milk. Let me add just a little more milk before I go. Now this is 4 cups of milk, of the soy milk, but if you feel like you need more, add more. If you feel like you need less, add less. It's totally up to you. Now, I don't like my mac and cheese super creamy, like super full of sauce. Like I like it a little bit on the less saucy. Okay, I'm gonna, it's almost there, but I'm going to let it completely melt and I'll be right back. Okay, here we have our sauce, all cheesy, nicely and melted. Now, we're going to incorporate our pasta. I'm going to turn off the fire and now I'm going to start adding, and I'm going to add our pasta. Now you want to mix it all in. Now we're incorporating. Now if you want it to be a little saucier and you following the recipe along just as it is now, you could add more milk at this point to thin it out. I am not going to do that. I'm going to leave it just like this. Now the fire is off, and this is why you want to cook your pasta under the instructions. I would say a little under the al dente point, because the pot is hot right now. The pasta was hot as I added it also, so it continues to cook. So you don't want mush at the end of, you know, when it comes out of the oven. Now from this point, now we gotta transfer it into a container, an oven safe container. Let's do that. Now I forgot to tell you, but I already know it's good. Taste your mac and cheese. I know it's good. Oh my goodness, I haven't had mac and cheese in a long time. Okay, I have my glass container here. I butter it. I buttered it all around. I don't know if you can see that. I did that earlier, so it kind of dissipated. But now we're going to add it all in here. Gracefully add this in here. You see that? It is saucy. At this point, you can still eat it just like this. If you like the creamy cheese, you could eat it. But we're going to go a little step further. In a small pot, we are going to add the butter that we saved earlier. And we are going to melt it. We don't want it to brown. We don't want it to anything. We just basically want to melt butter. And once it's melted, we're going to add our panko breadcrumbs into the butter, or the other way around, whatever. We basically want to get them really nice and buttery. Now if you don't want to do this process and you are one of those people that buys the butter sprays, you can literally grab this, put it on top of the panko, and then just spray it and it'll still brown. Okay, this is all melted, as you can see. Can you see? It's all melted. Now I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to add, probably that's enough. I'm going to add a little more. Okay, now it's all buttered up, and now we're done. We move on to the next thing. Okay, we have our panko breadcrumbs here. So we have our parm, we have some paprika, we have our panko breadcrumbs, and now we're going to grab them and sprinkle them on top. Ooh, it's hot. You can do the layer as thin or as thick. Ooh, child, it's hot. Very hot. Okay, so we have our panko breadcrumbs. Now I'm going to add a little bit of parm. Just a little bit. You don't have to do this. If you do, make sure if you don't get the Violife and you don't shred it these tiny little crumbs like this, then whatever parm that you choose, consider their saltiness, by the way, you know, but also chop it up so it doesn't have the long strings and then it doesn't melt right, and y'all already know how it is. And now I'm just gonna ever so gently, you know what, I don't know how to ever so gently do things, but I'm sprinkling a little bit paprika here, just a little bit. We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen there. It gives it a nice beautiful color, and it gives it that little oomph at the end. Okay, now this is going to go, actually, never mind, it's not going anywhere. I'm going to cover it with foil paper. I don't know what side it goes on. Is it this side? I think it's like this. I don't use foil paper that very often, as you can tell. And in fact, it's not really that great for cooking with it. I don't know any other alternatives right now, and I haven't done the work to really look for this. So if you know what other better alternatives than using foil, let me know, please. Share with your girl. Anyway, this mac and cheese is now ready to go in the oven. It's gonna go in the oven at 350 degrees. I'll let you know the minutes exactly. Okay, it's going in the oven. Okay, in the oven it goes at 350. And I'm gonna start with 20 minutes. I'm gonna go with 25 minutes actually. Okay, I'll be right back in 25 minutes. Okay, so I just took out the mac out of the oven. So this is what it looks like right now. Let me do a little, but now we're gonna put it back in See that? We're going to put it back in for about 10 to 15 minutes so we can get nice and brown and delicious. I'll be back. Okay, now this mac and cheese, it is out the oven. Look at that. Ugh, it is nice. I put it in the broiler at the end just because you know how it is. Now it's hot. If you give this, look at that. You hear that? Listen to this. These little burnt, not burnt, but like more crustier, crunchier edges. Oh my goodness, those are my favorite. Oh my god, look at that. Oh, this is just right. This is just right. Now, I have a special someone that has been wanting this mac and cheese right here. And again, we have a special guest to try this delicious mac and cheese. Shall we call him? And here is our guest taste tester. And he's about to have this delicious cool down plate of mac and cheese. All vegan, all delicious, all ready for some lovin'. Look at those little, oh my gosh, my mouth is watering. Look at those little pockets of cheese and butter and the yummy crusty panko. Oh my gosh, look at you in the background. The crusty panko and pranko. Not pranko, this is not a prank. And panko with parm crust. Oh yeah. Okay, well here you go. Give it a try. Tell the people what you think.
It's nice and cheesy and it has that little bit of creaminess
Yummy,
that you
yummy.
like in all types of desserts and foods.
In desserts, what about in mac and cheeses?
In mac and cheese, definitely. And I love mac and cheese with crust like this because it's always the best. And it creates a nice crunchy flavor that's not too crunchy, but it's not too soft.
Okay, take a nice big Matthew bite. The one that we know and love. There you go.
So good.
So good. Can I get in on that? I've been eyeballing this right here. Yeah. Oh. Look at that steam. Y'all see this? I want you guys to be able to see this. Oh, it's so yummy. So yummy.
So good.
Now, Matthew, let me ask you this. By just trying this, would you think that this is completely made from plants? You would think that it is made?
No, I would not. This is like, I bet 95% of people wouldn't tell.
No.
Probably more wouldn't know that this is vegan.
It is nice and creamy. It is buttery, cheesy. Everything that you want from a mac and cheese. Now, like I said before, if you want this a little creamier, like, I don't know if you guys can see this over here. I like it a little bit more. It's not dry. It's definitely not dry, as you guys can see. See, it's definitely not dry. I just don't want it as saucy, and that's definitely a different type of mac and cheese that we can make another time. This is just one that I really wanted to bring out for you guys before Thanksgiving, that you can make and still have a beautiful, delicious plant mac and cheese. This, so good this Thanksgiving. Anyway, what do you think?
I think out of 10, it's definitely a 10. Delicious. You need to make this for Thanksgiving.
There you go.
Even. Any Tuesday.
Any Tuesday, any given Tuesday, right? Where are you waiting for a specific holiday? Make this whenever you feel like a little cheesy fix. It is affordable, it is delicious,
and it is amazing.
Yes. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Share so we can reach many more homes. Anyway, y'all, I hope you enjoyed. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and I love you all. See you on the next one. Bye.